Hi, hello, and thank you for tuning in. Now, I am trying to do some more videos that are a little bit more hands-free, but it is so challenging to get the right lighting, to make sure that the camera or the equipment that you are using in order to have a hands-free video to set up. Once you set it up, you're fine, okay? Providing you use the same tools and equipment, or you're trying to do a video about something of a similar size. So in front of me, for example, I have a blue tray, and it is about the size of an A4 piece of paper. So once you are looking at setting up and doing any hands-free videos, I would suggest getting something like a tray. You can either buy one or you can upcycle one from something that you've purchased in the past, and use that as your guide when doing a hands-free video. Now, I know I haven't got it completely how I want, so I do apologise if I keep moving around a little. I'm trying to hide my background. A blue or green screen background is ideal if you're looking at doing videos like this. Then you haven't got to worry about, whether your house looks like a shithole, or whether something about you as a person might accidentally be filmed and then you have to painstakingly then edit things out, okay? Because that is really, really annoying. The other thing I would also suggest, if you are planning on doing any videos which are going to focus primarily on your hands, don't put blue nail polish on, okay? Don't use blue, don't use green. Don't use anything that's a little bit too nude. So like with this top that's very white, very kind of like beigey skin colour, because that's my skin colour. Look on some of the channels where they are constantly trying to sell you shit that you honestly do not need, but you're so brainwashed and hypnotized into what they're selling you that you would buy anything that they're trying to get you to buy. And a lot of it is very hand focused. So most of the time they will always be holding an object. So again, focusing on your hands is very, very important. They would also have a cameraman, which I don't have, who would zoom in on your hands so that you could then say, wow, and today we have on sale is this beautiful brown bear ornament. And they wouldn't drop it, okay? They would have practiced. So as you can see from this brown bear ornament, it is so small, it will fit in the palm of your hand. So would be ideal for any family home where space might be limited. Okay? You don't need a fucking brown bear ornament on your shelf, all right? The amount of shit I have brought my kids over the years that has ended up, oh my God, going up the vacuum cleaner, or, ended up outside, or basically ends up in landfill is shocking. Don't get me wrong, when I was little, I used to love collecting stuff. I still do. And every week or every month, whenever I went shopping with my parents, they would always buy me a little ornament of a figurine of an animal. And I had a huge collection of them. And I've probably still got them in a box somewhere. But I've moved house so many times that they're not sitting on a shelf, okay? They're sitting in a fucking box. So, it's one of them. So there you have it. If you're looking at selling something, then obviously using your hands is a really, really good way of doing that. The other reason why it's so good is because a lot of people, when they articulate and when they're talking, they're constantly moving their hands around like this. It can be distracting at times. And again, if people are having to use a different language and the vocabulary is not there, they will use their hands to gestate, to use as a form of articulation. Again, with sign language, and if you're trying to show someone directions, so you might go, right, you need to go left there, and then you need to go right here, and then you need to go up that road, and then down that one, but they might not necessarily be in the right order with the language barrier. And another good thing about your hand is, I've been teaching my son this, is it's a good measuring technique. The amount of times that people have asked me, how big is something? How big is something? How big is something? And I'm like, right, will it fit in the palm of my hand? Okay, if so, take a photo. That's how big it is. Another thing you might use might be a pen. So this is obviously, it's a novelty pen. I can't even remember where I got this one from actually. But when I was looking at running my own catering company, I come across these novelty pens and I thought they were absolutely amazing. And I thought they'd be like a real quirky thing to maybe sell or to gift to customers, to sort of say like, thank you, you know, for shopping at my shop. Obviously, you don't want somebody who is there every single day having the same breakfast every single morning. It's great to have repeat customers, but trust me, they're not going to want like 7 of these by the end of the week. All right. So it might have been like a little like sort of Christmas or like a sort of anniversary type. Hey, we've been open now for 4 weeks. Let's celebrate. And believe me, being open for 4 weeks for any business in 2026, it feels like a year. Okay. So again, you know, you could use something like this to measure with if you don't have a ruler to hand. So again, if I was to get this little bear and stick him on the spoon, it's a bit like a spoon race, he will literally fit on the spoon itself. So again, that is a good measuring tool. Another thing might be a dice, if you have a dice, because again, it's a cuboid and it has 6 sides. Had to think then how many sides a dice had. I'll explain why later. It's because my son plays Dungeons and Dragons, so we have so many dice in the house and they don't all say 1 to 6. So again, a dice is a really good way of measuring the size of an item, because a lot of people know roughly how big a dice is. And believe me, anyone with children is going to have a game of some sort in their house which has dice to it. Okay? Another thing you might consider using is a hair grip. This is quite a popular accessory, especially in a female home. And if I was to get this hair grip and we focus on the teddy bear, on the brown bear here from Canada, he is smaller than a hair grip. Like that. Ta-da! So there's a lot of things in and around your house that most people, regardless of their age or sex or, you know, what part of the country they live in or what country they live in its entirety, if you were to show a picture of something that you were looking at selling or promoting, and you were to use something that they could associate with, that you would probably find 9 times out of 10 in somebody's house, you know, even a key ring or a key. Okay, this is quite a big key because this is a radar key. But again, you know, it will give you an idea of size. So you don't have to panic if you can't find a ruler. Okay? The amount of times that I've stressed and said to myself, where's my ruler? Where's my ruler? I need to measure something. Forget about it. All right? You don't need a ruler. On my old desk, I actually had a tape measure that went from one end to the other. And that was absolutely amazing. So if you can tape something down, especially if you've got children or you've got pets, that is a brilliant way of keeping a measuring device safe. But if you're like me and you're constantly having to move home because you don't have a fixed address, then it can be complicated. It can be a bit challenging. So, right, that is my video on how to measure items and an ideal way to do so. Hopefully you have found it useful. I will now go on to another video where I'll be talking about something else. Please feel free to follow me on social media. I am more than happy for people to give me feedback. Anything that is abusive or inappropriate that is listed for myself or anyone else will be removed. Thank you.